Okay.
Hi, welcome to F***ing with Fuqua. That's the new title of the show.
So when you were making the first one, was there always talk about a sequel?
There was talk, but I didn't think about it much.
No.
No, because you want to just make the best movie you can make. You never know. So if you're thinking about a second one, you may miss a few things, leave something on the table, and then you never get a chance to do it.
Oh right, you didn't want to leave anything.
You got to go all in, man. Yeah.
Because I was looking when I was researching for today, they had made an announcement 7 months before your first one came out that they were already working on another one.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with me, man.
No,
I'm saying that becomes a thing where people are
projecting
and doing all that, which scares me, man. It's like, just let the audience will tell us.
Right.
Let's give it some time. They'll let us know.
Well, this is your first sequel.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what was that experience like for you?
For me, it was just, I look at the script. I look at the script that Richard wrote, and I said, can this script on its own stand on its own without this movie, without the first movie? If you didn't see the first movie, will this hold up on its own? So I just kind of make each movie the best I can make it without thinking about sequel, because that's too much pressure to be thinking about that for the people who really enjoyed the first one. I just go in every scene to make it the best I can make it, and I don't put that into my mind. What I do think about once we were in the development process or in pre-production is things I learned from the first one, certain things the audience seemed to care about, to make sure we were delivering the goods on certain things.
So what were some of those things that you
said? Well, the action stuff, they responded to certain action beats, but it was really the character beats. It was little nuances that I'm always surprised at audiences. When he first started folding the napkin, there was that interesting little weirdness about him that people liked. I remember the girl Jenny in the first one, when the guy comes in, takes the ring at gunpoint, and he grabbed the hammer, and then later in the movie, she opens her drawer and the ring is there. I heard a gasp from a lot of the women in the audience that clapped, and it was weird little moments, and I thought, you don't want to lose these things, because sometime in Hollywood we could be jaded. Yeah. We get a little too tough for ourselves, and the audience just goes. They have no, they bring their own prejudice, their own feelings in the theater, and we have a tendency to try to edit them and go, this is too sentimental. They made that. This is, it's a tough guy movie, and you go, no, not really, man. It's really just a movie. And then if they could connect to some people, like the scene with Sam, the old man.
Yeah.
At one point it was like, should we cut him out? And there was a few people going, we should just cut him out. It's just, the young kids won't like Sam. I said, yeah, but people will connect emotionally to certain things. Don't underestimate them.
Right.
And so when we did test screenings, the connection was just, some people cried, and things like that. So, and even small things like McCall spending time with the old guy, or McCall helping the kid, or McCall painting a wall. It wasn't always the big things.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss. We weren't being too cool.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of texture to the movie. It seems like, the first movie was a hit. It's based on a TV show that obviously had many episodes.
Yeah.
What took so long in the development process? Was it just aligning people's schedules?
Yeah, it was scheduling. It was really scheduling. Richard wrote the script maybe a year. We got a script a year after we finished it. He finished the first one, and maybe a year after, I think it was. Then it went to the studio, and then it sat for a year because Denzel was doing...
Is it on Broadway or something?
Roman Israel?
Okay.
Yeah, he was doing Roman Israel at the time, and what was I doing? I don't even remember now. I know I've been working on my Ali documentary. It's a 4-hour for HBO, and then it wasn't until his schedule opened back up that we were able to put it together. But it takes so long to make a movie.
Yeah.
Right? It takes over a year and a half or so to really finish a movie.
Well, I was going to ask, was it hard convincing him to do it? Because this is his first sequel too, right?
Yeah. It was harder for the studio than me. He was in with me if I was in.
Yeah.
But they had to do all the other stuff.
Well, this is your fourth movie with him. What is your relationship like, both sort of personally and professionally? Has it changed over the years, and what has that been like?
No, we trust each other, man. I trust him. He trusts me. He knows I'm gonna do my job. He's gonna do his.
Right.
And he knows that We're friends, and I'm gonna protect. As an actor, I'm gonna protect his work, and he's gonna protect mine. And I think that's what you really need. There's also a connection creatively for me where you find an actor that's inspiring to you. It makes you better. Scorsese told me the same thing about De Niro.
Right.
The relationship you have with certain actors, it's a chemistry. It's like a shorthand.
Right.
And that's a special thing. I'm blessed to have that relationship.
Does he still surprise you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The scene with him and Ashton, that was getting more physical and more heated in that hallway.
Yeah.
And when that happened, it was one of those things where I didn't know that was going to happen like that. We rehearsed it and blocked the scene, but we always leave each other room. I leave him room, and he leaves me room, and I'm always there to get it because I know when something's coming. That's part of knowing your actor.
Is part of it his artistic ability and his? It seems like a lot of it too is just his professionalism. Like you don't have to worry about anything with him, right?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
He's there to work.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to do a few more movies and then you'll be Tony Scott's.
Yeah, I think what do you do? 5 with Tony?
I think so. Yeah. I always wanted to ask
I
Denzel about that too.
I think it was 5 with Tony. Yeah.
The last movie you did with him was obviously Magnificent Seven, and the end of this movie has a certain sort of Western feel. Did you sort of apply that to?
So like High Noon.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I love that climax. Is so cool.
Yeah, High Noon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my High Noon with a hurricane. Exactly.
It's so awesome.
Yeah, I love westerns, man.
Would you go back to the?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't shoot it. Never say never, but I wouldn't want to shoot in Louisiana.
Is that where you shot?
Man, it was so hot. It was so hot, man. It was 110, 112.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man. But then we shot the last 2 weeks in New Mexico, and it was beautiful. It was perfect. The weather was nice. The sky was big. I was so mad at MGM, man. To shoot down Louisiana, man. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I would do it again. Yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah. Tarantino says you got to do 3 before you're considered a Western director.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
I don't know where that comes from, but whatever, man. You guys got some good shit. Whatever, man.
Did you learn anything else from Magnificent Seven? Because it didn't quite.
I learned it's hard to make a Western.
It connected with modern audiences, right?
It's hard, man. It's hard physically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable if you're really out there in it, and it's tough to get a modern audience, no matter who's in it, to connect to it. It's hard, man. And the horses and cowboys feels like a thing of the past, but if you can get it right,
yeah,
you might connect. It's tough.
Do people come up to you and say that they've seen it and like?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've had a couple guys come up to me and ask me, "You should make a sequel with Denzel, the Native American, Martin, and the Mexican."
I'm down.
And I was just like, "Yeah, well, call MGM."
Well, I was gonna ask in terms of sequel. You got a different cinematographer.
Mm-hmm.
You have a different editor.
Mm-hmm.
Was that part of your intention? Did you want to kind of shake it up and try different things stylistically?
Yeah, I mean, stylistically, DP wise, yeah, because this one was a little more brutal and personal, and I wanted it a little grittier. Me and Mario, I love Mario. I'm always work with Mario, but the first one was a little slicker, a little more impersonal. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to work with Oliver Woods on this one. Editor-wise, me and Conrad Buff, this is our 4th movie together, 5th movie. So I work with Conrad a lot. We've been trying to work together for a while. John Rafua, my other editor, is doing James Cameron's film. He's on that for another one. He did the first one too.
So he'll be on that for 5
He'll be on it forever.
Yeah.
But with I don't know how many other editors.
Yeah.
But I wanted the opportunity to work with Conrad Buff again anyway. He did Training Day for me and all that. So It was good to get me, him, and Denzel to get together again.
Yeah, I mean, the action in this movie is very clear, and you understand where everyone is at all times. I mean, is that something that you find is incredibly helpful for an audience, and how do you feel about action, sort of cinema in general these days? Yeah,
the geography and the clarity of the action is really important because it's dialogue. I mean, it's still storytelling, right? So if you do an action scene and they're confused about what happened and how that happened, it's just like them missing lines. It's like them not hearing what someone said, right? Because every stroke, every cut, everything is the reason, to be precise that way. So I think that if you're still talking to the audience, if you got a powerful actor, they're still talking to the audience. It's just with violence, right? That's telling you something about that character. You know, when he kills the guy in the corridor with the waves, and he slices him. That's a very personal thing to do.
Right.
You know.
Was it hard to kind of try to top that? I mean, even people who haven't seen the movie, I say you got to see the sequence in the kind of Home Depot, right? Like, was it hard to kind of top that?
You know, you think about it, then I have to dismiss it because it's a different movie, and you know, you hope that people will enjoy it as much or more. But it's one of those things that when I hear people respond to the drill in the back of the head or the fact that I made a noose out of like barbed wire, you go, I don't know. I don't want to try and do that because then what am I going to be doing? You know what I mean? It's like you can get nutty, you know? And then it can get really goofy.
It becomes a Final Destination.
Yeah,
movie or something.
so I couldn't do that. I just made the movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, this one I think is going to be a hit. Are you at least looking sort of to where McCall's next adventure will be? Is that something on your mind? Have you talked to Robert or anything else?
Not really. Richard, the writer? No,
Richard,
not really. I mean, I've mentioned to them that I would love for it to be overseas. If we were lucky enough to do another one, I would love to see Denzel overseas, you know?
Yeah.
Something more international, but I'll leave that up to the studio and the writer.
Did you look at the old show before?
When I was a kid, I didn't watch it before shooting this.
Okay.
I grew up watching that and Miami Vice and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't take anything from that.
Right.
At all.
Does Denzel have did he have ideas about where he wanted his character to go in this one, and has he started talking to you about where he wants this character to go?
If there's a third?
Yeah.
No, man. Denzel didn't even talk about the third one. You can't even have a conversation with him about that. He's like, let's just see what this does.
Right.
He won't even talk to you about that.
I was going to ask if part of the appeal of doing these movies is actually making a franchise for an adult audience. You know, every franchise seems to be for sort of all ages. Was that sort of the appeal to you?
Yeah, because I think that there's no movies being made really. You know, we used to make movies for adults. You know, in the '80s and some of the '90s. You know, there were movies that were made more for adults. They had action thrillers. You know, like No Way Out. You know, those kind of films. They just stopped.
Yeah.
I don't know why. All of a sudden, they just stopped making those movies. Tony was making some of those movies. You know, and that's what Revenge, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and then they just stopped. So I would love to start making more of those.
Is it easier when you have Denzel on board?
Yeah, much. Yeah.
You don't have to fight.
Yeah, not as much.
Quite as much.
Yeah.
You've done so many different genres at this point. Is there something that you are itching to do? Like, does a sci-fi movie interest you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the right one. Yeah, the right one makes sense for me. I love all kind of movies, man. I just don't see myself doing a flat-out comedy. Although I will watch them.
Right.
And laugh my ass off. But I don't think I want to make one. It's hard being funny. Those dudes are amazing, man. I watch these guys, I'm like, I feel jealous because they look like they're having a blast.
Yeah.
You know, that one with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell.
Oh, Daddy's Home?
Oh, man. Had me in tears, man. You know? They did another one together, too. The Cops. They played two cops.
Oh, yeah. The other guys.
The other guys.
Yeah.
Hilarious, man. You know?
I don't think people watching your movies would think, big other guys fan, this guy.
Well, you know what, man? It's just funny, man. You got to have a release.
Yeah.
You know? But Mark's a friend, and I'm a fan of Will Ferrell. So.
Does doing like a superhero movie or a Star Wars or anything like appeal to you? I'm sure you've been approached.
Yeah. They talked to me about doing Morbius, but I'm not doing that. Another director's doing that. Yeah.
Not a lot of appeal?
Yeah, the right one. I just haven't. The only one that actually really, for me at the moment, at that time, was interesting for me was Batman, the one Chris Nolan did.
Yeah.
I think that was cool.
Right.
That's more in the world I would play in.
Well, what did you think of Black Panther?
I thought it was a good movie. I
Okay.
thought Ryan did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that wasn't for me. Other people mentioned that to me before about Black Panther. You know, I remember online there was a lot of people saying, "Oh, Antoine, you should do Black Panther." And when I worked with Wesley Snipes back in the day on Brooklyn's Finest before he had to go to prison, that kind of came up again, talking about doing Black Panther. But you know, they picked the right guy for Black Panther. Ryan Coogler was right for me. I just my sensibility is just a little darker.
It also seems like you like working with actors, and that it seems like on these movies that is the last thing you have to do because you're worried about the special effects and all of that. Is that sort of a daunting process?
From what I understand, yeah. I mean, you got people doing your storyboards. You got. I mean, I haven't done it, so I don't know. Guys who do it, they do it well. The Russo brothers, those guys are having a great time doing it. I guess I know it's hard work, but I have a tough time some days, man. When I'm just looking at green screen on anything, it's just like my whole body shuts down. I'm like, I don't even know what to do with this.
Right.
You got to put Denzel Washington against a green screen. It's what the is that, man? You know, it's like, what is, you know, I like being in the real environments. It's just, you know what I mean. But I would, if I found the right one, because I love wonderment and all that. I love what Cameron did with his film.
Yeah.
I would do something like that.
Yeah.
I would do Avatar. I would do something like that. I would like to.
Really?
Yeah. Something big. Something big.
But has the same kind of
yeah,
feel.
a little grittier.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little tougher, you know.
Well,
somehow, like, those big movies, somehow it's become like, I guess if with so much money, you want to make sure kids can go and stuff, so it becomes very poppy, becomes very, I don't know, you know, that's something that gets me excited.